Hey everyone, just happy to announce that Haven Cottage Event Center is opening in late spring of this year in McKinney. Haven Cottage is an event center for small to medium-sized occasions in a country setting minutes away from the city. Use the facility for a conference, art exhibition, and multi-purpose meetings, or just celebrate your family's joyous events exactly how you want to. Everything you need to know to get in touch with them is all in the description, okay? Email, phone, alright? Check them out, see what's up, maybe reserve something, who knows, whatever it is, check it out. Alright, enjoy the episode.
Podcast, one more podcast. One more podcast.
Let's try that again. There it is, that's better. Okay. Hey everyone! How you guys doing?
Doing pretty good. How about you?
It's pretty good.
Peachy keen.
That's such a weird phrase.
Isn't it just?
What is keen? So if you're keen on something, it means like...
Obviously peachy.
You're all about it.
Okay, so peachy keen. Who likes peach? What about like sherbet keen?
What?
I mean, you can
Sherbet's not a fruit.
Sherbet is not a fruit. Yeah.
What about
yeah.
sherbet?
I'm pretty keen on sherbet.
Okay.
What about like lemony keen?
I don't like
You're
lemon.
I am very keen on lemons.
Okay.
I am much more keen on lemons
Pineapple-y keen
than I am on peaches. I'm
What
gonna
about-
have to
Wait,
say like
is this us here on the One More Podcast?
Yes, it is.
What is this? A crossover episode?
Do this so that I can see your beautiful face.
Please, I don't want people to see my beautiful face. God damn
There
it.
you go. Look at that.
wow,
More
people
beautiful.
can see his beautiful face.
You have really, you have really beautiful eyes, Evan. It's okay.
Thanks,
Let
man.
the
I
world see
appreciate it.
Anyways, yeah, this is what Evan was trying to do. This is a One More Podcast. We are
Is
here.
it really?
Is it? Okay, so let's talk about BoJack Horseman. So like,
Oh, shit, I guess so.
I guess okay. So one, how, do you guys like the latest season? Because you're gonna have to give me a refresher because I watched it like maybe a month or two ago about it, but I remember the highlights and stuff like that.
So, season 4?
Yeah.
Is that the most recent?
That would
Yeah.
be the most recent one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so season 4. Which one's the underwater episode? That's season 3.
I think that's the
was-
end of season 3.
End of season 3. Okay. So what happens in season 4? Let's do a recap.
I don't remember a lot of the early episodes, I'll be real.
Oh, really?
Not a ton of it.
Okay.
I know, well, I remember the first episode because it's, or that might be episode 12 of season 3, but where BoJack's watching horsing around because Sarah Lynn just passed away.
Yes.
Or, overdosed.
Sure.
Oh,
She still passed away.
Yeah. I think that's the tail end of season 3, though.
It is.
Because, yeah, she wins her Oscar. BoJack doesn't end up nominated. Season 3 happens. And then season 4, I just don't remember how it starts.
Evan, do you remember? Dude, my cat is crazy.
I'm pretty sure.
I'm just going to pull up a fucking refresher. Is it okay?
Go for it. Do it. I don't know.
Yeah, like pretty sure season 4 starts with BoJack just being completely out of Hollywood doing.
When did he like go run with the horsies?
That was the end.
That
of
was
season
the last
three.
episode of season 3,
okay.
where he was driving and
Yeah.
then he looked over the ridge and all the horses were running.
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't get that symbolism.
Well, he's not like them, you see. He's not
Is
like
that
those
it?
other horses.
That was it?
That was a lot of what I got out of it was like, oh man, look at all those other horses doing normal horse things, living their lives, and I'm
Well,
over here just
I thought it was
fed up with this with all this Hollywood shit. Let me go run with those horses.
okay. Yeah. So it was,
Okay. Season 4 is Mr. Peanut Butter running for governor. Like
Yeah.
the whole first
okay.
half of it is Mr. Peanut Butter's campaign.
That's right. Okay.
And then they all get trapped into the house whenever it
That was
collapses,
a
and
messed up episode.
Woodchuck Berkowitz comes and saves them, and
Yeah.
like BoJack and Diane are just getting drunk in the bedroom the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's the beginning of season 4. It's weird to me because all the subplots mesh together really well. So whenever they move from subplot to subplot, I don't realize it. Like moving from season 3 to season 4, or like 2 to 3, 1 to 2 is also like seamless and easy.
Yeah.
Which is really crazy for a TV show to be able to actually do that. Like the only thing that really tells the seasons apart is episode 11, which is typically where the worst thing that happens in the season happens.
Is that really a thing?
Basically, season 3, Sarah Lynn dies. Season 2 is when BoJack is at Charlotte's place in New Mexico,
Yeah.
and she walks
yeah,
in on them.
Yeah.
And season 1 is, I forget because season 1's so long ago. I think season 1 is where Todd finds out about the rock opera getting.
Was that rock opera season 1?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Wow,
Yeah,
so
it was.
much stuff has happened.
Because
in that
season
show that,
1
like,
started
I
off
legitimately
with
don't remember.
with Todd making Disneyland,
Yeah.
and then it all fucking went to shit. And or no, that was the beginning of season 2. See, it all meshes.
No,
dude.
I think Disneyland was season 3.
Yeah.
It might have been.
Wait, when does he start the
Disneyland
the
was
app,
one of his later projects.
the driving app?
Driving
That's-
app
That's
is-
season 4? No.
It's
That's the tail
mid-season
end of 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because then they have all the spaghetti strainers and they drive out to the ocean.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Margot Martindale crashes with the spaghetti ship.
Yep.
And it all starts heating up in the sun off the BoJack blimp. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fucking character actress Margot Martin.
Man, I'm sad that she's gone. She was so great.
She was really funny. I appreciated her as a character there. So, all right. So, like, did you emotionally connect with anything in the show? If not, or if so, what?
Not like exactly, but
Okay, I see how it is.
with BoJack being resentful towards his parents.
Yeah.
Like my parents weren't bad, but there are obviously certain things that I just kind of had balled up because I really don't have parents.
Sure.
So I don't know. It's not that I resent them for not being here, but
No.
it's like it kind of just bottles up and gets that way.
No.
So I kind of connect with, like, especially when BoJack does take his mom to the retirement home, because my dad was getting to that point.
Mm-hmm.
So I
kind
kind
of
of, because my
bridge
dad was
that.
starting to forget things here and there, very, very slowly, very minimally, but I could see, like, old age deteriorating, and that I can connect with a lot, where BoJack, like, wants to go off on his mom for being such a bitch, and then just decides, no, I'm going to say the nice thing, and then I'm going to leave.
Yeah.
Like, that, I thought that really was a really great moment and really kind of connected for me.
Okay. I agree to a certain extent about that, the relationship with the parents and stuff like that. I don't know. I thought a lot, for me, it was kind of BoJack's assholey personality and how he, essentially relies on, everyone on the show.
Yeah.
And then, but he treats them so poorly, but he still expects, the world from them.
Yeah.
So, I kind of connected with that. There's just a lot of just,
It's a very real show.
yeah, very much so. Evan, anything about you?
I mean, nothing struck a particular chord with me.
Really,
Like,
nothing
there
was like, oh my gosh, I can relate.
no,
Okay.
not to a super huge extent. Not in the like direct in your face. Wow, this is happening to me right now, sort of thing. But I do think that the show, like, for being a show that is about half about animal people, they do cover things very realistically, despite the tongue-in-cheek humor and the word avalanches and all that shit.
The word avalanches are some of the best parts of that show.
Well, no, I thought the whole point of having the animal characters was the reason why it's not a human animated or live action.
I don't think that was the point of it, but I think
Oh, really?
I think having the animal character, like, because if you watch like the first 2 episodes of BoJack Horseman, just after watching the show, they're not that good. Like, the characters haven't really found their place yet. The show's still finding its heart.
True.
So I think they started out with this comedy show about, animals and people, and then they realized, wait, we can use this as a vessel for real ass
Really
shit.
serious issues.
Yeah. And sorry for interrupting you on that.
Oh no, you're
but
good. You're good.
Yeah, I really think that they kind of just stumbled into it and then realized that it's because it's Netflix and they're doing really, really good stuff with their TV shows right now.
Yeah.
And I think they just kind of realized, hey, this can really strike a chord with people. We just need to make it more real, and people are more willing to watch something that dark and that real because it's also a comedy with all these animal characters and jokes about animals, like fucking Neil McBeal, the Navy SEAL, like all that
I
shit.
love all the puns.
Oh, it's
and
great.
everything,
It's
yeah.
fantastic. I think, and I was talking to Evan about this
completely
earlier. I'm
forgot
going to
about
tangent
Neil
for a
McBeal,
second.
the
Sure,
Navy
go for
SEAL.
it.
I'm going to tangent, but I was talking to you about this earlier. My favorite jokes in that whole show are all the banner gags, where it's like whenever Diane's getting the abortion, and she has the balloon that says "it's a boy" and it's crossed out and says "it's abortion." Those are my favorite jokes in the whole show because it's like at Diane's birthday party, the surprise party that Mr. Peanut Butter threw, he gets shirts made that say Diane's 35th birthday ball bonanza, and it says "please underline ball." So it's like it's just whoever he's getting the the people to do these projects just keep completely fucking it up. And there's one where he gets a cake for somebody, and it says write their name in pretty font.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's the best gag in the whole show for me. It's just the stupidest things. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, and almost to that, it's just like, that's the shit that happens in real life. Like, you go get a cake for someone who doesn't understand what you're saying, and they'll write
and like
it out.
it's great because it's even when the show is really dark and depressing, those jokes are still sprinkled in. Because like the birthday party with Diane, they're fighting the whole time, but there's still just a banner up that says, or a banner and all the shirts and everything, and it's all just wrong.
Yeah.
And no one ever fucking acknowledges it either. They just let it happen. It's so funny to me.
Oh, and I think that's because so a lot of shows and stuff like that. And my dad had this comment about the Orville about the show, is that it acknowledges and points out a lot of the kind of the crazy humor and stuff like that, the outrageous humor and everything like that. So, you good?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right.
Just adjusting it a little bit. So
you're good. Hey, you're totally fine. No,
cool.
you're good.
Go
on. So it points out and like makes fun of the obvious things where, with BoJack, you just leave it as kind of this nuanced silence where it's if you see it, it's funny, you get it, awesome, but they're not forcing you to recognize the humor.
It's really there for like if you ever go back and just binge watch the show a second time, you're gonna pick up on all these little stupid things. And like
very true.
Another thing they do very well is whenever they have a flashback. They are not do very well, but something that's really funny is whenever it's like they'll do a flashback and the first scene will be like, "Oh, I'm having such a good day in glorious 2007," like opening the paper. I love that stuff.
It was like and it's always like BoJack's in a car or something like that, and he's driving along the radio, and it's like, "This is a traditional '90s song."
Or like the one where Princess Carolyn's sitting outside and she's listening to the radio, and it's like, "Don't go back inside, Princess Carolyn." It's like singing to her what to do, or no, it's whenever.
Don't go back in the restaurant.
Yeah, exactly. Whenever he fires the guy from the restaurant on accident, don't go back in the restaurant. It's so good.
Yeah. It was really funny. And I pointed this out. Have you guys seen Black Mirror at all?
Oh, yeah.
Some. Okay. So
I've seen a lot. He's seen some.
Have you seen season 3?
Oh, any notable episode?
The San Junipero?
No, it's the one I haven't watched of that season.
That's a really good.
Don't spoil, please.
No, I'm not going to. It's a really, really good episode. My second favorite episode. First one was with the wife with the husband who died, and she had that beta test thing.
Yeah, okay,
that one's my favorite episode.
I think my favorite's White Bear. It's the lady that kills the kid, and she like wakes up and she doesn't know where she is or anything like that.
Yes,
and, no one's talking to her, and they're all just filming her.
Yeah,
that
one was pretty.
That one fucks me up.
But what I was gonna say, with the San Junipero episode, literally it starts off with cars. With this group full of kids, and it's not a spoiler. But,
go ahead.
It's a timepiece. So
okay,
it's like 1987, and then the guy on the radio is like, "It's 1987," playing the classic hits, and I was just like, "That's really funny," because BoJack called it out, and I feel like if you notice it in some movies, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. That's probably like that's the reason why BoJack does that.
Yeah,
because it's an overused like.
Exactly.
Remember that really that played out song in the 90s? Okay, now you can recognize that it's in the 90s without just having text on the screen saying, "Hey, you're in the 90s."
Yeah, exactly.
So, but yeah, no, I don't
think anything's as like in your face about it as BoJack.
Oh well, no, and I think that's the sarcasm and the comedy about it. But
and I just feel like in that show, just the jokes don't miss. The jokes always hit. They're always funny. The timing's great. Like everything in that show.
Yeah.
Like. I'd say there's maybe like 5% of the jokes in that show where I was just like, that kind of, missed the mark. But like, good 95%, it's always funny. It freaks me out just how good of a show it is.
It's always funny in Philadelphia.
Yeah. Don't even start me on fucking Sunny.
That is a really
God, I love that show.
That was a really good show.
Have you seen the season 12? I remember you and I watched a couple.
I finished that. Sorry.
Old Lady House, a situation comedy.
Yeah, yep.
I'll sleep you. Well, if we had a laugh track, it just makes it feel a lot lighter. It doesn't feel so dark,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are some really...
Because it tells me when to laugh.
There's some really good shows out there, so... I don't know.
They really are. Have you ever watched Community? I've never watched it. Is it good?
Community. Yes. It's okay. So probably the first 3 seasons, because I think they went out to season 5. I think, and then Dan Harmon had some kind of creative director / writing issues or something with one of the executives, and then he left, and then he came back for a season or something like that. So
okay.
But when literally it's finding itself, the show itself that's when it's good. It's not just like when it hits the stride, it's good. It's like literally the Dan Harmon just writing to write and figuring out like what's going on with the show and what he can do and what the characters are and the chemistry and everything. That whole discovery process, that's when it's at its best. It's just everything just seems fresh and new, and Troy and Abed, that character relationship, super funny. And then I think his name is just the guy who's the Asian guy who played in The Hangover.
I don't know.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
I really don't.
I've seen it. I don't know the name.
I think he's in BoJack Horseman. No, he is in Bob's Burgers. Have you seen Bob's Burgers?
Yes, all of it.
The dentist.
Okay.
The guy who does the dentist.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, he's like...
I don't know his name still.
You see his face and you're like, I know who he is. But he's on that show as well. He's really funny. And it's... Because a lot of it, it's like... They don't necessarily break reality with the show itself, but it's definitely... You're just at a community college, and like what happens if the community college just has no rules, and so these kids can do literally whatever they want. Like some of my favorite episodes is a recurring annual thing I think that they do at least like once per season, is they do these paintball episodes.
Okay.
And so it's like where the entire school just starts playing paintball. And like what happens, and people split into factions, and people like build forts and like wall off areas of the school.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's I'll have to show you a couple episodes after this, but then things happen, and the Dan Harmon leaves and stuff, and it's not bad,
but it's
not just not as good.
It's not what it was. Yeah.
So that's a good one. I'm trying to think. The Office is a really good show.
So okay, I was going to ask about that. I know you love The Office. Yeah. How do you feel about Parks and Rec?
See, I've only seen like a few episodes.
Okay, but do you feel like it's like an Office knockoff?
Well, I mean, because I read up on it a little bit, and originally the show was supposed to be kind of a spin-off.
Yeah.
So if you're familiar with the character Karen from The Office, which is what's her name? She's the daughter of some really famous guy, and I didn't realize that there was a connection. I'll have to look it up later. But the whole point was she was supposed to leave Dunder Mifflin and then go to
Parks and Rec. Yeah,
Parks and Rec, but they wanted to make the distinction, and they severed that, so she was just a new character. But I've seen a few episodes. I mean,
I know who you're talking about.
I don't remember the actress's name. I don't remember.
Rashida Jones?
Yes.
Yeah,
her. Yeah. And she's like the daughter of like some famous guy, right?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure she's some famous guy.
Ann Perkins.
There you go. But no, Chris Pratt's really funny. Amy Poehler's funny. What's his name?
Aziz Ansari.
Oh, I love Aziz. Honestly, I just love Aziz, and anything
it just kind of has a great cast.
It really does.
Like Aziz Ansari, Poehler, Nick Offerman,
yeah. Pratt.
Chris Pratt when he was fat and funny. Oh my god. I mean, he's still funny. He's just not fat. But dude, Chris Pratt in that fucking show is hilarious. The first season, he's kind of a dick, but as it goes on,
I think
Aubrey Plaza.
Who's she?
She plays
that one really bored character in every show ever.
Yeah. I'll get the picture.
All right, cool. No, but real quick, have you guys seen Master of None?
I started watching it, but it didn't hook me.
One episode.
Why? Yeah. How did it not hook you?
I don't know.
Okay. You just if it didn't hook you, just keep watching.
It kind of just seemed like Aziz
Ansari,
yes. The TV show.
She's in Honor Quest.
But
give me a beer, please.
It is really, really good.
Okay.
So because the whole idea, and I think it's probably the best target for us specifically, just because it's not necessarily a coming of age story, but it's definitely a point where, hey, you're at a certain age, you have a plethora of life experiences behind you. You still have a lot of your life to live in front of you, and what you're going to do, and what's your decision. It's not like, I'm trying to figure out okay, I can't say that, because there is an aspect of like figuring out what you want to do in life and stuff like that. But it's definitely, I think it's best kind of the 20s to probably mid 30s is the millennial age. So, but no, it's the chemistry in the show is really good. I think the story devices and stuff like that Aziz uses is really good. I mean, there's a reason why I believe he was nominated and won for best actor in a role in a comedy or something like that.
I think so.
And I don't know if you win a Grammy for, I forget if you win a Grammy or a Tony or whatever.
I don't know how that show works.
Yeah,
at all.
so
Tonys are for theater though. I know that.
Tonys are for theaters. Okay.
Pretty sure.
And then Emmys,
I think
Grammy's
musicals.
music. Grammy is music. Emmy is TV show and Golden Globe is movies.
Oscar is movie.
Sure, Oscar. Why are they named? Why are they human names?
I don't know.
Got me.
I wonder who's Oscar. I'd like to meet Oscar. He's just like, I'm gonna start a thing.
It's not BoJack Horseman.
No, it's not BoJack.
Oh!
You're funny. No, but anyway,
he couldn't even get nominated. Sorry, go on.
It's a really good show, and season 2 is really, really good. It's very heavy though on like the finding the love of your life.
Okay,
it's like it's a huge drive for Aziz. Kind of this, and it's very modern in terms of you know online dating and apps and whatever and that kind of aspect. So I don't know. I really related to the character, and I think his kind of quirkiness and his random outbursts and just his attitude about how to go about life, I've related with a lot. So if it didn't hook you, keep watching.
I'll try.
I have a gut feeling that if you watch just maybe 1 or 2 more episodes, you'll be like, oh, cool, I'm in, I'm hooked, I'm ready, I'm it.
Okay, so, I'll try.
But yeah,
for you, I'll try.
All right. So what do you guys think about Netflix coming out with just out like literally probably within the past 3 or 4 or 5 years, Netflix just all of a sudden becoming a powerhouse for TV shows?
I think it's great, dude.
I don't
BoJack, Stranger Things, The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, what Arrested Development.
Now that is a show that I really wasn't super huge on, was The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
It's all right.
It's good. I like it.
It's aggressively all right. Like I feel like it does. I feel like the premise.
I think it's one of the weaker Netflix shows, but I think it's good.
I wouldn't say it's even okay. Well, first I know her as Erin Hannon, so I love her from The Office anyway, so I'll follow her anyways. But I don't know. It's definitely I can agree that it can be hit or miss for some people.
Yeah,
that type of comedy and that kind of the story that it is. Granted, I haven't seen the most recent season, but I've seen the first 2, which I liked it. I enjoyed it. It was good. So, but yeah, what other Netflix shows?
Is Arrested Development a Netflix original?
I think it was not originally,
but now it is.
Netflix took it and ran with it.
And the one thing I really think that is cool and interesting about all the originals that all these different companies are doing is that like they're doing everything. Like they're doing anime too. Yeah, like it's crazy. Mm-hmm. It's kind of cool that they're actually trying to pander to all audiences with it. Mm-hmm. It's nice. Yeah. Wasn't Orange is the New Black original Netflix? Yes, yeah. I mean, that show I haven't watched a ton of it, but it's really good.
Yep. I think because I know the OGs are like House of Cards.
House of Cards was a great show.
It is still a great show. Yep. I don't know. Have you guys seen a lot of it?
Kevin Spacey touches kids.
I've watched it in full.
I've seen I saw the first 3 episodes and then he started touching kids and it was literally 2 days after I started watching. Yeah.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
It was a thing.
Evan, you can agree with me that they can definitely get rid of Kevin Spacey. Like they can spend the first 15 minutes of one episode.
Point, they could. Yeah,
definitely just put him off to the side.
Yeah,
because
I would personally probably like the show a lot less because a lot of what I liked about it was
Kevin Spacey
and to a lesser extent, whoever the fuck the guy who played Doug Stamper. I do not know the actor's name.
I don't know that.
But those guys just being
Doug
complete
Stamper
sociopaths. That was the most of the reason I enjoyed watching that show.
Yep, and their friendship, man, they had goals. That was goals in government.
Some serious goals.
Did you ever watch Mindhunter? It's a Netflix original.
I've heard literally within the past week. I think I've heard that maybe 3 or 4 times. People are like,
you should give it a look. It's like
Isn't it like CSI Criminal Miami?
Sort of. It's like from the 70s before the term serial killer had been coined.
Okay.
And so it's basically the 2 detectives who are figuring out that serial killers use a pattern, and they're like basically the guys who coined the term serial killer.
Sure.
And so it's really cool because they do a lot of like they'll go to prisons and talk to serial killers.
Yeah.
Or what they called at the time system killers or something.
Okay.
And the actors that they pick for these real serial killers that were did this shit based on real people. The actors look like twins.
Oh really?
It's scary to me. I'll be watching it and I'll look up what the guy looks like and I'll just be like, what the fuck? That is the guy. It's crazy.
Wow.
And it is just another crime show, but it's a really well done, interesting crime show. Also, Stranger Things is an original Netflix.
Yeah, that's.
Did we mention that?
That was one of the first things mentioned.
Okay, my bad.
Because my biggest thing is that you can only do, and I don't know, that's just a personal preference of mine. Is that you can only do criminal investigative / kind of super smart whatever.
So many times,
yeah. I've watched the crap out of Monk. I loved Monk. Monk is
Never watched Monk.
Oh, that is a really good show. I will say the first, because there's and it's not a spoiler or anything, but it's definitely, they do kind of like the like Doctor Who companions sort of.
Okay, yeah.
But it's not. That's not the focus. It was
but it's
you can split the show between the first half of the show is with one person and then the second half is with a different person. Okay. So the first half I loved it. It was great. It was awesome. Second half still good. My only issue is that the season finale or the show's finale felt kind of almost rushed.
Okay.
They came to the resolution. They closed doors and it was all good and does stuff like that. But I felt like they probably could have maybe spent like 2 episodes doing it, and I think they just crammed it into 1 episode from what I remember. So
just not enough time.
Yeah, but that's aside from the point. But that's good. And then Psych, and that's just
I watched like the first season of Psych. That show is hilarious.
I love it. Just Sean and Gus are just
the chemistry. It's amazing.
I love it.
It's fantastic.
And have you seen I don't know. Have you seen like off-camera interviews and stuff like that with them or talk? It's same in the show.
It's real, yeah. Okay,
that's same cool. thing. Same thing with like Zach Braff and what's his name? What is his name? Whoever plays Turk.
I can't think of Zach Braff without thinking of the characters in BoJack eating him alive, like and burning him.
Oh yeah.
Every time I hear that name, that's all I think about now. Is just Jessica Biel. Yeah, just being like, the fire is our new lord. Yep. We must kill Zach Braff and eat him to live. Like,
yeah. I saw a trailer for a new movie that he's in, and I can only think Scrubs. So that's my issue. I've seen Scrubs like 5 or 6 times. So
is Scrubs good?
Scrubs is a very good show. That's like primetime television, like before Netflix, Hulu.
Yeah. It was Scrubs.
Primetime television. Scrubs was a huge contender for, Showtime, or not the specific channel Showtime, but like that got a lot of air. Yeah. Thank you. So yeah, that Scrubs, and I'm trying to think, because it's so weird to think like, just 10 years ago there were like just shows, but now everything's on Hulu or on Netflix.
It's so great though.
I agree.
Just weird.
It's very strange. I think I don't know, because the Hulu originals I have not enjoyed as much.
I've never watched the Hulu originals.
Oh, you've never seen any Hulu originals? Okay, some are good. I've seen a couple episodes of some, like The Last Man on Earth. If you've heard of that, okay. So, moral of the story is it's just a man, and he's the last man on Earth. Keyword: he's the last man on Earth. But originally you think he's just the last person.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, that one, and then I don't remember if the Mindy Project is a Hulu original, but
I don't think
I've heard that name.
Yeah.
I do not think it is.
Okay. I know it's on Hulu, but anyways, so it's just really strange. So back to shows. So trying to think. Oh, have you guys seen The Ranch?
The Ranch?
The Ranch.
No.
Netflix original?
Nope.
With Ashton Kutcher and I believe it's Danny Madison, I think. Well, you guys seen That 70s Show, right?
Sort of, yeah.
I've seen a few episodes. Yeah.
All right, so
I'm familiar with the 70s Show.
Watch the entire 70s Show, please. That's a very good show. It is. It's Ashton Kutcher and I forget who plays Eric Foreman, and what is her name? Oh my God, who's Ashton Kutcher married to? I forget her name.
I have no clue.
She plays Meg in Family Guy.
Oh God,
what is her name? We're blanking on names.
Mila Kunis.
Mila Kunis, yes. So Mila Kunis, Ashton Kutcher, Danny Madison. Mila
Kunis is great.
I love Mila Kunis. She's awesome. Did you see the video? I think they were like at some panel or something like that, or some interview panel or something. They're talking about an upcoming movie, and so some interviewer or reporter or something like that asked a question to one of the guys. But he asked it in like Russian or something like that as like a joke. And then Mila Kunis just steps in, starts speaking Russian, and she's like, "Yo, look, dude, hey, shut the hell up. Like, I know what you're saying. You're being rude. Just shut up." And yeah,
I did not see that. That's hilarious.
Yeah,
that's pretty great.
It's on YouTube, so you probably look it up. But yeah, no. So That 70s Show, it was probably one of those shows that the cast had a very good chemistry. Okay. It was just like everyone was jamming. It was funny.
Yeah,
they're definitely could bounce jokes off of each other. I don't know how much was improv or what was scripted, but it was definitely felt like just the conversation was natural between them. So that show ended, and then many years later, Ashton Kutcher, and I believe his name is Danny Madison. I feel like I might be butchering it or saying it wrong, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it anyways. They start a show, and it's about they live in Colorado, and they have a ranch, and they're brothers, and they are helping their dad on the ranch, and it's kind of this story. It's the first couple of seasons are okay. It's definitely finding itself as a show, but the next couple of seasons, because they just released season 4, and it's funny. It's kind of I don't want to say it's redneck humor, but it's just kind of country humor mixed with a little bit of commentary, mixed with just fart jokes. Which I mean, I'm a fan of fart jokes, so I will turn 80 and still think fart jokes are funny. So,
I believe that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Like, is that a telling of my personality?
Yes.
So, okay, cool.
I'm just kidding.
Only a bit.
So I'm trying to think. What other Netflix stuff?
Uh,
I don't know. Netflix is cool. Did you guys ever have the DVD sent to your house?
I never used that.
Like, maybe twice.
Really?
Yeah.
What'd you have? What'd you do? Do you remember?
God,
what you
I
ordered?
do not remember at all.
Okay. It was really funny. My dad used to he would order the Netflix DVDs and then just burn copies and then send it back.
Yeah.
So
I feel like that was something that had a really significant problem with.
Oh, probably. But I mean, like Redbox and stuff like that, you probably do the same exact thing with a lot of that. So get a $2 movie. So
and get $1 movie and then burn it and then take it back and
and then you sell it. And it was actually really funny. Okay, so I don't know why that reminded me, but a long time ago when what was it? Dinner with the Schmucks? Yeah, with Steve Carell and do you know the movie?
Maybe.
You know who I'm talking about? Okay,
the name sounds familiar, but that's all I got.
Okay, so there was a long time ago. I think this was back in like 2010. The movie came out and it was okay. It was an all right movie. It was just a traditional comedy, nothing like super funny or serious or whatever. But my mom bought a bootleg copy of it, and literally I was watching it, and it was some guy, and I don't know how he didn't get caught or how no one called him out or whatever. Yeah. But it's literally he just like set up a tripod, had a camera, and just recorded the screen. And I was just like, that's either the most genius thing that I've ever heard or the stupidest thing I've ever heard. So I mean, hey man, if you want to do that and you sell copies off of the street, whatever, that's fine. But I think it's insane, just the kind of bootleg, off-brand stuff people sell. So,
yeah.
Or like, I have a couple friends who have it's one of those pirate softwares that isn't really pirating because you're not the one doing it, where it's like a streaming service that they have on their TV. And they'll get movies the day they come out, but they'll be like shittily recorded from like the back corner row of a theater on the cell phone camera, and it's like you can barely hear the volume, and it's like, why is this even on here?
Why are you
fucking wasting my time?
Exactly. There was
got 180p quality with this one. Nice.
Man, I get to see it without having to pay for a movie. That's good, right? It's worth it.
Yeah. No.
There was one software, I think. It's crazy, just like the things that you can do online. But there's one software that you could download, and I forget, it was like called Popcorn or something like that. I don't remember. So you download it, and like in the terms and agreement and stuff like that, you obviously no one will read. But I figured, okay, if my friend is telling me what it's doing is that you just download it and then you can stream movies for free,
there's got to be
something. So I was reading through it, and it was just boilerplate stuff. And then I got to a point where it was just like, I don't think it said this specifically, but pretty much converted to, this is very illegal. If your ISP catches you doing this, we're take responsibility. Yeah, we're not responsible. Yep. Blah 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 blah. Whatever. I was like, okay, that's what it is. All right, so that's the acknowledgement of what you're doing is illegal. So
good on you for actually reading the terms and conditions.
I was genuinely curious. I was just like, okay, okay. Generally, I don't read the terms and conditions, but this, I was just super curious. I was just like, how can this be a thing? How is this possible? I'm just so curious. I'm just people get away with a lot of stuff. So
terms and conditions. God.
So, all right. So, internet stuff. The FCC is the vote has gone through. So we had the 30 senators.
That's, about a month ago now.
Well, no.
The new stuff.
Yeah, there is new stuff.
Okay.
So the Senate has finally pushed through getting 30 votes that they can force a vote.
I am the Senate.
What is that from?
Star Wars.
Oh, because Palpatine says it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, that's right. Sorry.
That's
I don't.
You good.
I'm not brushing up on my prequel humor. So though I am
should.
subscribed to r/prequel memes or something
As
like that.
everyone should be.
As everyone should be.
Yeah. So, but anyways, they just pushed a. It's essentially there's like within the Constitution and within how our government works. If any kind of a government entity does any kind of vote or tries to change regulation or whatever it is, you are allowed to sign a petition, and if you get a certain
It's
number
60 days is the limit for it, I think.
something like that.
Yeah,
I
you have to
believe
get a
so.
certain number within 60 days,
And then you can force a vote to veto the decision.
Mhm.
So just recently, we got the 30th congressperson or the senator. I think I forget if it's senators or congressmen, but
If it's 30, probably Senate.
yeah. So got that. So you're gonna contact your local congressman to.
I did it on day one.
Well, you're gonna do it again.
Yeah, sure.
You gotta do it again. Evan,
Sure.
Did you vote? Did you tell people? Did you spread the word?
Honestly, no.
Really?
Dude,
Not
you,
even,
you
like,
don't want the
Facebook or
internet to be
whatever?
free?
I
God. This
It's
dude
not
hates
that
the
I
internet.
I don't think any change is going to be made in any quick amount of time. I do think that all of the activity that we're seeing regarding this is a wonderful thing. Go
Sure.
democracy.
Right.
Honestly, I don't think that even the changes proposed in this bill would really have a significant impact on what the average person actually ends up paying for their internet.
Oh, so you're just like you're being complacent then?
Pretty much.
Why?
I
he
literally,
hates
I just
freedom.
told you.
But,
it
like,
will not.
No.
What-
translation,
how-
I hate freedom.
How can you be so
kidding.
sure about that? Like how is it that you
Because-
can go to bed at night saying yes, my ISPs aren't going to screw me over?
Well, because there's a lot of reason for them not to. To make a long story short, there's a whole lot of reason for them not to. It's if you see a trend like this in the history of the country,
Sure.
really just overarching in large industries, where because we do still have several different large ISPs that offer their services to a large portion of the nation's citizens,
So you know that the top 5 ISPs control 80%
a
of the
hilariously
market?
large chunk of the market.
Yes.
I am
okay.
aware of that.
All right, and you are aware that
I'm also aware that none of them are really large enough to buy each other out.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
So at that point, if you see groups of them start radically increasing their prices,
Mhm.
a large number of people are going to jump ship to another company that isn't. There's a lot of incentive for them to
Can I
do this.
Can I tell you something?
Throw it.
It's right under your nose. How many ISPs were we offered at our apartment complex?
2.
2.
Too.
All right, and both of them are part of the top.
Basically Verizon
Top
and
5,
AT&T, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And what about Joe Blow, average Joe, living in like the Midwest, where he's not in a heavily populated city? How many ISPs do you think he has? 1. That's very common. That's very common amongst people. So what happens when that ISP, let's just say AT&T for this example, goes a little haywire and says, "Hey, we're gonna start making you pay more because we're."
Then the whole city throws a shit.
But they can't though.
They
Because
absolutely
it's
can. It's exactly what's happening right now.
well, but because that's for having
For
a
having
direct
government regulations for it. Yes.
government, but you can't do shit with a private organization. You can't, because if you get rid of the if this is, hey, I can sue you if you try and screw me over, and you get rid of that, there's no, how are you going to sue them? It's their
I mean, you can
choice.
still boycott.
Yeah. All that happens at that point is the city just basically either you see complaints en masse from the people of the city, or you see people just honestly at some point, if it gets bad enough, people will probably just move.
I don't know if people are that.
No, people won't, but businesses will.
So
If they're being drastically, if they're being charged significant amounts of money in
right.
such and such area, they will absolutely move out. The internet provider will lose a lot of service in that area.
But I'm saying
I don't think it will completely regulate itself, but I think that the infrastructure that this bill has in place, I don't think it's significant enough to actually cause anything more than like maybe a couple of years of shakeup in the system.
But hold on. I'm trying to understand what you're saying before. So you're saying that, okay, let's just say Dallas. Let's use, for sake of argument, we have Dallas, okay?
Yeah.
Let's say currently right now in Dallas, you have 3 ISPs, okay? Just for the sake of argument, you have 3. Okay, so you're telling me that if all 3 of them cumulatively raise their prices, what's going to happen? Or you don't think that's not going to happen?
I don't think it's going to happen.
So why not? If there's nothing stopping them, because
okay,
they
now
can cumulatively...
there's an implication here that there's a lot of collaboration between these 5 companies that say, hey, well, okay, there's a lot of collaboration in lobbying on these issues because they want this sort of thing deregulated.
Okay.
But there's not going to be a large-scale, industry-wide, massive uptake of prices. It's very unlikely because there's just not a lot of incentive to do so. But what I'm saying, one of those large providers keeps their prices low enough to bring in a lot of other people who are jumping ship from these more expensive ISPs, then that gets them a lot more capital that they can then use to spread their
and that makes sense
out.
In Dallas, in New York, in all these places that are heavy populated, where companies are going to go to pay the money for the infrastructure to set up their connection there. Yeah. But again, Joe Blow in the middle of the Midwest, he only has one option. So what's going to happen when they're going to specifically target that area? Okay, if you live in the Midwest in this area, you're going to have to pay because it costs more to maintain connection there. So you're going to have to pay, instead of $45, you're going to have to pay $60.
I think in that case, the company that was charging the lowest price and now has the most customers is just going to start moving out.
Yeah.
You're going to be like, well,
what do you mean moving out?
They're going to
setting up more.
They're going to start spreading line out, getting more customers from all of these smaller towns that you're referring to.
Okay.
Because they'll have the capital to do so. They'll be able to run line out further throughout the country.
But so I don't understand, because if everyone is getting charged, okay, so let's just do central, east, and west. Okay, central, east, and west. They're charging west and east competitive prices. So we're gonna get paid all around here. We're gonna get paid the same. They're making the same amount of money. Mm-hmm. Joe Blow in the middle. If the other companies are making the same amount of money and they're not spending their resources to increase the infrastructure to get to Joe Blow, well then how is that going to change if all of a sudden now they have to keep their prices even more competitive? Because then what if they reduce prices for people on the coast? Company B and C have to match that price, but then they're gouging out Joe Blow because that's where they're making up the money. What happens when that happens? Oh, but that's what I'm saying.
I don't know, but there's a lot of really, you're implying a lot of things in what you're saying that really are not guaranteed to happen. Where I draw a lot of issue with this. And it could happen. You're absolutely right about that.
And I think, and for me personally, I think the not knowing and we're just going to throw it up in the air. Hopefully companies will, stick to the honor code and be good. Hopefully they'll do that. And I think that's hugely not a good idea.
Well, just antitrust laws in general are already in place so that there isn't massive industry collaboration on the scale that you're talking about.
Well, I mean, with industry collaboration, it takes one company. So it takes AT&T, who's got this huge conglomerate that generally, because they bought Time Warner? No, yes?
Yes.
Yeah. They bought Time Warner, so now they have Spectrum or whatever, BS, whatever it is. There's this huge Mongol of a company. Mm-hmm. If they have the resources to do these price differentiations, and Verizon and Comcast and whomever else, they have to match, but they don't have the equal resource count. Again, I don't know the numbers. I'm just assuming. We take whoever's in first place with industry market share. They're going to do a lot more, and other people are just playing catch up. And that's what I'm afraid of. Is just one person wants to hoe everyone, one company wants to hoe everyone, and now everyone has to play catch up, and they're not going to be able to manipulate that.
Well, but they're not going to be, in even the scenario you just mentioned, they're not going to be able to hoe everyone.
But I don't want. But if one person gets hoed, then I think we need to keep it, because I don't think net neutrality is stifling innovation, because you saw within the past 5 years we're getting now gigabit speeds, wired gigabit speeds within new neighborhoods, new apartment complexes, and stuff like that. Austin, I think, has Google Fiber. A lot of the major cities have Google Fiber, so. I don't think we're stifling innovation there, so I don't see what's the point of, because unfortunately, yes, we've had a time in the world where there was no net neutrality and things were okay. Granted, there have been instances where companies tried to screw people over, like I think in 2005, cell companies wanted to charge people extra to use Facebook. That was just a thing that they tried to sneak past, but then the government, I think, said no. And so, we've built this beast because now we've built this fence, and the companies are just these huge, scary companies now. Well, if the fence is still protecting us, then why remove the fence? That's my point. So I don't think there's any. I haven't, other than sure, let's just let companies run wild. I haven't had any kind of. No one has given me a realistic example of if we get rid of net neutrality,
something
then we can
terrible
have this.
is going to happen.
Well, no. No one has told me something great can happen.
Yeah.
I don't know what. I only see
Yeah.
bad things. No one has told me anything good.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So, and I would rather just because I think we have in the apartment.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think we've got like 100 megabit or something down for these apartment complexes, depending on
Yep.
Something along those lines.
Yeah. So it's like the speeds are great. Anyways, it's not like we're getting hoed there. So
We're like 100 down, 50 up for like 50 a month.
yeah, something like that. So and
Pretty
that's
great.
that's pretty reasonable.
Do you use Frontier or Spectrum?
Spectrum.
we use
I've
Frontier.
heard so many horror stories about Frontier.
Yeah, they suck, but
Like
I like
it's-
Verizon Fios.
Well, like literally, in my closet is where the modem is.
Yeah.
Or not the modem, but the
Router.
wiring. Well, not the router either. Just the cabling that they have.
Yeah.
So the person who previously lived in this apartment had Verizon, and you open it up in my closet, and I can show you in a second. And you probably have the same thing. Anyways, it's just this huge box.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just disgustingly gross. Huge
Yeah, it's
box.
in my closet.
Yeah. So when the Spectrum guy came, and I was like, I want Spectrum, he had to rewire it. Literally, he just pulled something out, this small little wire, and screwed something and put it in a different port to screw it in. And I was like, well, what about all this other stuff? And he's like, yeah, this is just Verizon's attempt to, manipulate your speeds and control what you can and can't do sometimes, depending on load time, downtime, whatever it is. Like, it's just all manipulation stuff. And I was just like, that's horrible. If you don't need that and you can just have wires and make it look pretty and not this gross box of whatever, why do you need the gross box of whatever? So I don't know. I have some friends complain about Frontier. So
Yeah, Frontier does suck, but I just prefer Verizon Fios to Spectrum.
no, and that's fine. I don't necessarily. I never really knew what Verizon Fios meant in the long run of things.
Yeah, I mean, it's still just internet.
But
the
like,
end,
is
it
Fios is it faster?
It's just good.
Oh.
I've always used it, and it's never been bad. So.
Okay, just reliable.
Yeah. It's good, clean, reliable internet.
Yeah.
Good, clean oil. The War Eternal.
Yeah, good clean. What the fuck is that? Oh, yeah, I remember now. Okay. Yeah, nothing. Go on.
I don't.
It's
what
a
is
stupid in joke. It's a really bad in joke, to be quite honest with you.
I would love
Yeah.
to be part of one day. It's a
Who
quote
are
from
you?
The Office.
F5.
That was good. Okay, so sorry, I didn't mean to rant about net neutrality. And
Yeah,
stuff
no,
like
that's
that,
fine.
but-
But that's okay.
Well, yeah, you're right. I did. It's so upsetting that just how because like people are just not active, and then they are active, and then it's all like this huge rally, and everyone's like, "Yeah, be active," and then like a week later, people aren't active.
It's funny because like even on Reddit, you'll see like nothing but net neutrality for a day straight, and the next day it's back to shit posting, and it's like, well,
Yep.
I see you guys really care about this issue.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
I mean, they did really care about this issue. It was on the top of literally every sub for like a month, and
and that's like where's that momentum? Where's that mentality? Is it just you've said you've spoken your
People
mind?
see a cause and they jump on it for a day, and then it's the 24-hour news cycle.
You really think it's that?
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
not the 24-hour news
Well, no,
cycle,
no,
literally,
well,
but
well, at the same time, he's kind of right, because like a lot of the reason that like okay, let's scrap that sentence.
F5.
Mob mentality is just a very real part of human nature in a lot of ways,
yeah,
where it's very, very difficult to have a large group of people stay on one thing for a very long time, because the slightest distraction to even a part of that mob can easily just spread out and bring your whole infrastructure tumbling down.
Okay.
And that's a lot of why the 24-hour news cycle is a thing, is because with the ridiculous availability of information that we have now, there's not a lot of reason to stay focused on, oh man, my internet company is trying to fuck me over. Let's do something about this. Let's all gather at once and, oh, hey, there's a new cute cat video. And that's a gross exaggeration of what is actually happening.
Sure,
but there's a lot of things that distract us in our day-to-day lives. Besides that, there's all sorts of, like, everyone has a different stake in exactly what is going on with most any major issue. So you're not going to have a very large united front on that. which is sort of what we were just talking about. And
is that just like internet culture, or is that just like can we narrow it down to like take away the internet and just keep it humans? Is that just like a fixation?
Take away the internet
attention
and
spans?
things last
The internet-
weeks rather than days.
Yeah, the internet makes it
Really-
a lot
you really think
quicker, but I do think that, yeah.
So compared to like for whatever 80s and 90s, do you think our attention span has like significantly decreased?
No, absolutely.
From the 80s and 90s, I don't think it has significant.
From the 80s, I think a decent amount. From the 90s, probably not.
Oh, okay.
Basically, it's got a lot to do with speed of communication. That's really all it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a matter of whenever email became a big thing.
Yeah.
That's a lot of when the whole speeding up of life in general happened, and then Facebook, various other social media outlets only did more to accelerate that.
Okay. So I kind of get it. So like instead you're upset, you're going to write a letter. You're going to be thinking about that letter. You're going to be upset. It's going to
Exactly. And now it's you're upset, text your senator.
Yeah.
And it's like you text a service and then you just give it your name and it does it for you.
Yeah. And so
a lot of it is like if this was the same issue 50 years ago and it was like, oh, the government's doing this, blah 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 blah, and it's bad for me, and I was actually that pissed off about it, yeah, I'd write a letter and I'd sit there for 3 weeks and wait for my response from my local congressman
and if
be
you were
like,
mad
oh
enough,
hey,
you drive up to to your local government building.
you drive up and do something about it.
Yeah.
But nowadays you can do something about it by sitting on your couch and being on Facebook for 10 minutes.
And then it's
so it's like
and
it's
you've got
it's
a lot
instant
less
gratification.
invested in it, so it matters a little less to you in that regards. So there's less reason
you
to
have
be focused
you're
on it.
less or more invested. I didn't hear you.
You don't have to invest as much time into having this issue.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can just be like, I voiced my opinion and post it on Facebook and be like, net neutrality is bad.
Yeah.
And then you can move on to the next thing. And no one questions it.
And at the end of the day, your input isn't that different from what it was all that long ago. So like, I feel like there's this perception that like, oh man, we're not doing it nearly as much. People think they can just like send in a text and that'll resolve everything. And it's really not that different. It's just something that you can do quickly instead of something that takes several weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, well, then I guess it's just up to the individual then to adapt and instead of just sending one text.
Yeah, to actually have the drive to
and keep going.
do something about it.
1 week you call, the next week you visit. What's up?
Sorry, finish that thought. But
Go ahead.
Going back to what we started the podcast on reminds me of BoJack. Thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers. Oh, there's the third mass shooting today. Thoughts and prayers. On to the next topic.
Yep. That's
exactly what this and they do everything. It's like The Simpsons.
Hold on, is it the thoughts and prayers thing? Because I think that's because it's also just relevant. I think recently now is because there's been a lot of shootings and there's been a lot of like horrible things that happen. Do you think that's just been diluted? Like just the idea of saying my thoughts and prayers, that's diluted, or it's just that mentality where we think, okay, it's not worth it because of X, Y, and Z. Because I think it's just been diluted. It's like you say my thoughts and prayer, and then nothing bad happens, and then like a year later, okay, then my thoughts and prayers, because then that it almost has more value. But then you keep saying it, and you keep seeing it online. Floods and floods of my thoughts and prayer. Then it's like, well, it kind of loses its potency. I at least that's my opinion. Or is it just like the concept of my thoughts and prayers is you're not giving a shit and you're just saying it to move on to the next thing?
I think it's kind of a hard topic to gauge in that way because I think it's similar because of the speed of communication. Now, whenever a national disaster happens or national tragedy, everybody knows instantly. Everybody can talk about it. There's a live Facebook thing, there's a live Twitter thing or Reddit feed or whatever it may be. There's always something covering it. So it's, once again, really easy to jump in and be like, oh, this is terrible. I'm so sorry that this happened. And you can do it without getting up off the couch once again. So I don't think necessarily the majority of people don't mean it. I think it's just because it's so easy to do nowadays that it's not really acknowledged.
Okay, so instead of having, I guess this is what we've been talking, just having more time to express your condolence and stuff like that, just doing a quick my thoughts and prayers, what else are you going to say? And I don't think we've come up with a extended after my thoughts and prayers.
Well, I think in the event of a national tragedy, that's something where the whole speed of communication issue kind of works the other way, where nowadays there's this big tragedy that happens. Everyone around the country, no matter where it's happened, hears about it immediately. Whereas a while ago, there's a mass that like someone gets shot.
There's
a riot, in a city in Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
If you're over in Arizona, you're not going to hear about it at all.
Yeah, and if you hear about it, it's going to be the newspaper or a channel on the radio. And even then, you're probably not going to catch it on the radio.
Mm-hmm. Well, so then, but okay, so we have the speed of communication, and we have the ability where everyone knows about everything. But again, like what I was saying to Evan, what I'm saying both of you guys, you say it once, and then you get that almost instant gratification. And but
would you like a beer?
Oh no, I'm good.
Okay.
I gave up beer for New Year's.
Really?
Yeah. No alcohol, no cigarettes, no nothing, no whatever. So I'm clean.
Keep it up.
Anyways, but you get that instant gratification of I did a thing. I said a thing, whatever it is, but then what do you do after? And that's what I'm saying is I think that thoughts and prayers is I'm going to do a quick thing. Send a tweet, send a Facebook post.
Everyone's going to see that I did this.
Right. And so that goes, I think that goes back to it's diluted where, instead of I'm going to donate money to this, or I'm going to go visit the thing, or I'm going to go active, a volunteer, whatever, I think that's my thoughts and prayers has been diluted. Because then if it's like half the people say my thoughts and prayers, half the people go volunteer, and then the other half of people goes donates, even though that's 150%, you still have that.
That's a lot better than 50 years ago. Now 150% of people are doing something.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's a huge boost. So I don't know. I do agree, BoJack. It's funny how they do it, but why they do it that's my question. I'm not 100% sure on that.
I think it is just parodying the fact that celebrities do that.
That's true.
Just anytime there's something bad happening, every celebrity. My thoughts go out to blank.
Mm-hmm.
My thoughts and prayers go out to blank.
Okay.
So I think that's why they personally did it.
No, yeah, that makes sense. But I mean, in a grand scheme of things, why do people do that anyways? Why isn't the celebrities doing more?
I feel like with that's one thing that I think is another thing that just roots from the advent of social media in general is there's a lot more social pressure to do something.
Mm-hmm. So
like, for example, say 50 years ago, this is the sort of thing you hear about in the newspaper.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of waking up, pulling up your Facebook feed, there's a whole list of people saying my thoughts and prayers are out to this, and then you don't want to be that one guy who says literally nothing about it.
Yep. So
instead, so you do something about it. Whereas in the other case, you pick it up, you read it in the newspaper, you think to yourself, wow, that's terrible. And then maybe you go to work today and a couple of people are talking about it. And that's really the only interaction that you have with the topic at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that. I was gonna make a point, but for whatever reason my cat distracted me. I totally blanked out on it. But I don't know. I forget. I feel like a horrible person. Oh, I remember. Okay, I'm not a horrible person. Awesome.
Yeah.
Do you think with the continuous access, and I'll just for the sake of argument, just 24/7 news cycle, do you think we become numb to like national tragedies?
Yeah.
And just,
absolutely.
Absolutely.
It's another post on a Facebook feed. So instead of actually,
oh yeah, totally. I see a school shooting. I don't even think about it now.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a hilarious overload of information.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like you see so many shitty things happen, and you see them in like basically gruesome detail at this point, where it's like you can turn on and it's because of the media too, because you turn on the news and they don't want to report, oh, local kid climbs into a tree and saves a cat, because no one cares.
Yeah.
Because it's just a kid climbing in a tree and getting a cat.
So,
but you see father rapes and kills entire family, including men. It's just like, you're like, whoa.
Right.
And that's all they show.
Mm-hmm.
Is it's constantly like back to the 24-hour news cycle of just bad shit, where it goes from like school shootings to the random murder to shit about the president, and it's all negativity.
So
so I think at this point it's like completely numb to it. I see fucked up shit in the news, and I don't care.
Yeah.
Like I obviously I'm like, oh, thoughts and prayers.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. So do you think because it's constant, because we have that constant bad shit in our life, that now all we can say is our thoughts and prayers? Because if you always volunteer because of something that bad happens, you just don't have time for it.
I don't think it's all we can say now at this point. I mean, obviously, like, and another part of it, I think, is like if I'm watching the news or whatever, which I never do, but if example's sake, if I'm watching the news and I see, oh, someone got killed in Chicago, I don't live in Chicago.
Okay.
That's not my problem. I don't care that much. Obviously, I mean, I would have rather it not happened.
True.
But I couldn't have stopped it. And so it's like, but I see, oh, man killed in Plano, Texas, and I'm like, I used to live in Plano, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, that could be my neighbor. Like, I could know that guy. That could be my best friend's dad or some shit. And it's like, I think part of it is where you are. Mm-hmm. So I think if you're just sitting there watching a Texas-based news channel, you're going to be able to empathize more because it's your home. Mm-hmm. But if you're sitting there watching national news and it's bad shit happening everywhere else, I think you are going to be pretty numb to it because it's not something that could have happened to you in that case. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think that's a valid point.
Yeah, and I was going to make a very similar point where back to school shootings for a moment, just because they were kind of the thing that started it all. Yeah. A lot of it is also like infrastructure for how the donations might be getting there. So like if it's a large scale sort of thing like Columbine or something like that, if it's something that actually breaks nationwide news, that's still really not that close to us. So at most, a lot of what you would see is like maybe local like churches and mosques do like a donation as part of their offering that week, and that's about all.
You're probably going to see a canned food drive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's about all you see from local, like for local charity on that.
Yeah,
but then say a school in Dallas gets shot up, even if it's a less major event. Since it's something we're close to, there's going to be a lot more people in this area who are going to be willing to go out and donate, say, whatever they feel they need to.
Sure.
Yeah. And I think another thing that has to do with, and this is going to sound fucked up, but I think another thing that has to do with how much people actually care is the context of what happened. Like, for example, like comparison, like, oh, a single person being murdered in a robbery versus the guy who shot up that movie theater in Colorado during the Dark Knight screening. Mm-hmm. I think it's like not the amount of tragedy, but the amount you can relate to it. Like if people were like, oh, I'm not going to go to movie theaters for a year now.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, why? Oh, because someone's going to, break in and shoot me when I'm seeing the midnight release. But it's like, are you still going to go to the bank to deposit your paycheck? Well, yeah, sure. I have to.
Yeah.
So I think it's like people will put themselves in that.
If you can relate, and
you can relate, you're more likely to empathize. I think is kind of how it goes.
True.
Which is also a fair bit of why a lot of people are so unable to empathize now. Is a lot of times because a lot of it's just kind of headlining coverage. Unless you go out and read the article, there's not a lot of detail involved, so there's less to identify with.
Yeah,
and I think that's just because you've got to be the first one to write it. So no matter what facts or details or information you have, you're going to write about it and say, okay, well, we'll write another story, when we get more information. And then how much traction the first story gets versus the second story. My cat is such a freaking annoying cat.
I love cats.
Anyways,
good kitty.
And I think you can also see that with a lot of like. And I can't think of anything specifically, but except for like one, I know there was some musician. He did a video and he was saying a lot of shit and he was saying like a lot of really bad crap and stuff like that. And then like he didn't get his facts right or something like that. But he's a musician, a popular musician, so people are gonna take it at face value and they're not gonna do any more research about it. So he then made a second video saying, hey, I was wrong. Let me fact check myself. Yeah. Here's the true information. Well, the first video got like, millions and millions of views. Second video, probably under 200,000. Mm-hmm. So it's just like, it's that kind of mentality of being first on the scene, first with the information. We're going to give you the bare minimum and then be okay with it. And then who's going to
gets the worm. Yeah.
Right. And who's going to read the second article? I don't know. Well,
so I have a question that kind of pops up based on that for both of you. What do you guys think about like the difference between like the real world 24-hour news cycle versus like the internet YouTube news cycle?
I like internet
where
YouTube
it's like if you know what I mean, where it's like you'll go on, you'll see like r/news and it's talking about Donald Trump said something dumb or North Korea's upset. Okay, typical shit.
Yeah.
And that obviously there's some news story every day.
Sure.
Always. And then you go to like YouTube and it's like, oh, yesterday, everyone was fucking with this meme all day, and then it's like, oh, hey, Logan Paul. And it's like, did you hear about that?
No.
The suicide forest in Japan at the base of Mount Fuji?
Yeah.
He was there and he was filming a dead person in the suicide forest.
And he poorly blurred the body.
Yeah, he did not do He obviously did it for publicity
I see.
not for the sake of anything else.
I see.
And so the whole, like, basically like 90% of the shit I was seeing on Reddit, that front page for the day it happened, was just Logan Paul, all the way down. I think it's crazy how quick the internet bands up on shit like that. That's kind of why I brought it up.
Mob mentality, yeah.
Absolutely. That's why I brought it up, because it's like you'll see the real news cycle, and you'll see people on each side. And you'll see like the internet news cycle, and it's like everybody against this one dude who fucked up. And it's like, no, I'm not saying he didn't fuck up, but Jesus Christ, dude, you can't get away with anything.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
No, because I feel like with the internet, it doesn't tell me what to value as important. But if I agree that it was a shit thing to do that Logan Paul did, well then all right.
You've got a lot of people validating your opinion.
Yeah,
exactly.
And if the day goes by and that's just a thing for today, that's fine. But I don't want to see like
that's exactly what it is. It's just like net neutrality. Everyone talks about it for a week and then it's dead.
But I mean, it would be the same thing in a traditional news cycle. It'd be, here's the thing. Okay, now here's the next thing. But I think instead of spending 10 minutes on a story about Logan Paul, I would rather have a couple hours of like, okay, well let's really get invested. What's the story? So you can care, and you can take appreciation of like, or not take appreciation of what the situation is. So I think I do like that in terms of the information and how biased it is, and how you can get like fake news out super fast with that kind of stuff. That's something you have to be wary about. But I think if you keep a equal playing field, you can definitely, or playing field, an equal mindset, then you can definitely filter out with the obvious BS. So
yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm all about internet.
A lot of time. But
do you have an opinion on internet news?
I like internet news.
I think it's hilarious.
It's good.
Internet news is funny, but it is even more impossible to escape bias in internet news, as it were, than it is in normal news, because like even on something like Fox News, you'll probably have one person coming on to voice a contrary opinion, even if just so that the show's hosts can come in and say, wow, look at what an idiot this guy is. Whereas in scenarios where you have like comment chains about the most recent Logan Paul, then it is universally just people completely taking a dump on this guy, and anyone who has a contrary opinion, they don't get quote unquote airtime. Instead, they just get downvoted to oblivion, and you might have to scroll like all the way down the goddamn page to find anything. But
I still think even with that, and I do agree, because there's a lot, like, I mean, hell, when EA was trying to do the whole thing with Battlefront, it got downvoted and shot to shit. But they're still trying to. I get it. It's a shitty practice. I'm not saying it was right what they were doing.
But they're trying to remedy it.
But they're trying to do something. They're extending out, and they're saying, "Hey, here's a thing," and you just slap their hand. Well, how likely?
What good does that do?
Yeah, and how likely are they going to extend their hand again if it's just going to receive hate? So
the one thing that just freaks me out about the internet news cycle is how easy it is to feel behind.
True.
Like I'll wake like for the EA thing. I woke up one morning before work, pulled up Reddit, and the front page is r/best of, and it says guy EA responds to dude's comment about Darth Vader, gets negative 300,000 downvotes, and I'm like, this was posted 8 hours ago.
Yeah,
I saw that. Like, I saw it a little before I went to sleep.
It was like 50,000.
It was at like 50,000. I woke up, and I think at that point it was approaching 80,000 when I woke up.
Yeah, and it's just like
80,000, 800,000.
Yeah,
and it's like then you get to like the Logan Paul shit, which kind of erupted. I think last week.
Yeah, something
like right at the tail end of last week, I think. And it's like I just woke up one morning and all of a sudden I see this douchebag named Logan Paul over my front page on Reddit, and I'm like, what's going on? And I start reading into it, and I'm like, wait, this happened 2 days ago?
Yeah.
Like, why is it just now catching? Why am I just now seeing? It's weird.
Yeah. No, I very much agree with that. So I don't know, but I mean, it's still the information's out there, so it's not like you missed out on it. It's
it's not like you missed out on it. You're just catching up.
Sure, but. You miss out on news reports, you miss out on radio stuff, so it's like, oh, I didn't see what Fox News was talking about this thing, so I don't know what their opinion is. Obviously, I mean, you probably go and have an article or something, but, that, I like the fact that the internet's there. So even if I'm behind, and it's like I'm 2-3 days behind, it is easy to catch up. So, but yeah, that is, a lot of information and a lot of talking. And I think
was good.
Yeah, that was good. I think that is going to be the end of the One More Podcast. I think we're a little over an hour and like 30 minutes.
That felt like 5 minutes.
No, it wasn't an hour, 30 minutes. I think it's just a little over an hour. But yeah, you guys are alcoholics. I'm just kidding. And appreciate you guys coming by and everything like that. What was that?
Oh, he's just asking questions about whether he's an alcoholic as he's just downing the rest of his Shiner.
There you go.
Shinerbach, please sponsor us.
Yo, hey, Shinerbach, I would love to.
I've been lining these up logos out for you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah, I'm
notice
hoping
that.
I can help you get a sponsorship.
Aw, you're so sweet.
Shinerbach,
Help us.
I've been not doing the same just in case like any competitors want to show up. I've got the bottles like
Yeah,
No,
I can get
no.
Dos Equis on here. I will. Okay.
If you're not Shinerbach, you're not sponsoring.
No. Dos Equis, I will start drinking beer again if you sponsor me.
Okay,
That
hold on.
is a
Sponsor
promise.
him
That
because
is a
I want him to
promise.
be fun.
Wow, that's
I'm just
hurtful.
kidding.
That is so
Kidding.
hurtful.
I'm just
That is
kidding.
a great note to end on. Anyways, guys.
That is
I love you, dude. I'm
actually a
joking.
terrible note to end on. We
It
should
is
talk about that next time.
All right, in the podcast, we're starting 5 minutes from now.
Yeah.
What I just said to you all.
Yeah. Stay tuned. Anyways, that is the end. I appreciate you guys and everyone.
Also, I don't
who's
think we ever did this, so
listening.
I'm Evan, and this is Evan.
Oh yeah. I
We
guess
did
they don't
kinda
know
skip
their
over
faces.
Yeah, they haven't seen us yet.
Well, they know your face because I think you're on one episode with
Yeah.
JW and me and someone else. I think.
Probably.
Anyways, that's the
JW.
end. Yeah. And that is that. Bad in outro. All right. Bye, everyone.
Have a good time.
Toodle-oodle.
And that is the end of the episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. Just letting you know again that this was sponsored by Haven Cottage Event Center, okay? This thing's coming out end of spring in 2018. That's this year, okay? Small, medium, whatever kind of event that you want, bring it here. They can style it, they can change it, they can get it right just for you, all right? Celebrate whatever you want, have any kind of business meeting, whatever it is, just literally your heart's desire. Remember, Haven Cottage Event Center. Everything you need to know is in the description down below how to get in contact with them, okay? All right, cool. Peace out.